Hi there, welcome to Real Life on the Homestead in Ontario. And yesterday we headed out and did a big grocery run. Hit Costco, spent a small fortune, but what I did is I purchased big chunks of meat that I'll butcher here at home, just to save a little bit that way. If you're on a proper human diet lifestyle and you're eating mainly meat, you need to try to make your dollar stretch as far as possible. But since I'm not hitting all the junk food aisle or the vegetable aisle or the processed food aisle, I have more money to spend on real food. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We also did stop at the local farm that supplies raw pet food and spent another little fortune, but our dogs are set for the next 3 months. Got them some nice raw quality food from Ontario. So today what we'll do is I'm going to show you how I take my meat and butcher it up. I am not a professional butcher, far from it, but I know what I enjoy, and I know the portions I like to have, so I'm going to make it work for me. Now I'm just going to show you. I've got a beef tenderloin here. Again, not cheap. This is AAA Canadian beef. Cost me $183, 2.5 kilograms, so that's 5.5 pounds. And I'm going to butcher this up into medallions, bacon wrap it so that I can have some filet mignon. Now, you think, holy smokes, $183, that's a lot of money. But if you were going to a restaurant and you had a bacon wrapped filet mignon, guaranteed you're paying at least $30 for that plate. So my whole goal is to portion this out, wrap it in bacon, get it into the freezer so that the portions stay nicely individually frozen, and then I'll bag them up. The other thing I picked up, which was a decent price in my opinion, was a sirloin, a whole sirloin. And this was $121. Again, seems like a lot, but not once you portion this out into your steaks. So I'm gonna be portioning this out, and you can stay tuned with me. I'm gonna be putting this into our homesteading playlist, as well as the proper human diet playlist, because a lot of my carnivore friends out there are trying to figure out how to stretch their dollar as much as possible, and butchering yourself is a way to stretch your dollar. So let's get these unwrapped. I'm going to start this off with my tenderloin, and we're going to show you how to get this done. Now, like I always say, your best friend in the kitchen is a sharp knife. So I always like to go through and just make sure it's at its peak. I'm going to link this quick knife sharpener. I get it on the Amazon. It's actually not bad at all. Like I said, I'm not a butcher, so I don't have any high-tech equipment or high skills. So I make do with what I got, try to do my best. And again, always make sure you're working with a sharp knife. So I'm going to get this tenderloin out, and try not to drip blood everywhere. Put that into our garbage can. Now I'm just looking at it to see if there's any clunks of fat that I don't really want. It's been pretty well trimmed. I did find one that I didn't like there. Another one. Tenderloin is exactly what its name entails, super tender, but it can be dry. So anytime I've had tenderloin, I enjoy it best when it's bacon wrapped. And I'm gonna grab my scale because I'm kind of gonna try to figure out how I'm gonna portion this out for it to work best. I'm gonna do it in ounces and pounds. I'm gonna start off with the little tip because literally that's the most awkward piece. So it's not round at all. I find that if you do it like this and then smash it down, your little tip. Okay, so let's take that again so I can show you. So there's your tip. I put it down, I smash it down. It suddenly becomes almost like a patty. And then I'm just gonna grab some bacon. I got this from a local butcher, and I'm going to wrap it around. Now you can put a toothpick through it, but what I do is I place it on a cookie sheet, and I'm gonna in the freezer so that they'll be individual, and then I'll put them into vacuum sealed bags. But that's what I'm ending up with. So I'm gonna just weigh that out. That is a 7-ounce steak, so almost half a pound. This is what I'm looking for, guys. Did you see how easy that was? I'm just gonna take another piece, and I'm guesstimating again the weight just from a bit of my experience on how I like to cut it, but it is a guessing game. So I'm gonna do the same with this one, try to make it round. Grab one of my bacon strips, wrap it around, mold it just to make it pretty. There you go. And that is 6 ounces. So 6, 7 ounces, that's pretty typical. A lot of times when you're buying these, you're buying them at 5 ounce. How this would work. In a restaurant, like I said, this with a couple of sides, probably a $30 meal, if not higher. So I'm gonna go through and just work on this, and we're gonna see how many we end up with. What I'm doing here is I'm going to separate them by approximate weight, just so that I have them kind of equal. So like this will be my 5, 6 ounce ones. My mom will eat a little bit less. I will eat a little bit more. My husband's actually pretty much on the smaller eating portions, but because I am maintaining a mainly meat, I tend to eat larger meat portions than the average woman. I like that. When my son's here, he definitely will enjoy a larger portion. And we're just going to speed this up for you, just so you could see me finish off. Sometimes when you're buying from the butcher and these aren't pre-packaged, the bacon strips aren't exactly perfect. Sometimes you just really got to work with them. And this little end here is something I have to work with a little bit more careful. So let's just see that one. And this is literally the end. So we do have to make it work a little bit more in our favor. No worries. It's all going to be beautiful. Now, some people do like to put a toothpick through them. Some people will tie a string around it. I myself find that it works best when all I do is put it on a cookie sheet and let them freeze in their portions. So we have here 10 7-ounce and 5 6-ounce. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep, 10 7-ounce and 5 6-ounce. So I'm going to actually just go online and price what these would cost if we were to buy them through a butcher. Okay, so what I did is I just went online and I checked with a couple of butchers and a couple of stores that provide frozen filet mignons. And the prices range from $60 for 4 5-ounce to $75, $80 for 5-ounce. Now I have 5 ounces here. The rest are 7 ounces. So if these were all 5 ounces, so I'm error on the side of the lower end, this here would be valued at $300. I paid $183 plus my bacon. So let's put that at $200. Going on the high side, I don't think I paid that much for my bacon, but $200 compared to $300, I have saved myself $100 just by taking half an hour to cut up my meat and bacon wrap it. Now, what I'm doing, as I explained, I'm going to freeze these. So I take a cookie sheet. Let me show you this. I take a cookie sheet, I line it with parchment paper. I do not wrap the bacon, the steaks in anything, because what I want them to do is freeze individually. And once they've frozen individually, then I will make packages of 2 and vacuum seal them. I find that way, if it's just me and my spouse, we can pull out 2. If it's, my son's coming to visit, we'll pull out 4. I could work a lot easier and no waste, because remember, I'm trying to avoid waste. So I'm just going to place these on here. Let me move it over so you can see what I'm doing. If these don't fit, I'm going to have to get another cookie sheet, and that is absolutely fine. But I think I can wiggle these to make it work. Yep, we're going to make this work. Perfect. So how simple was that? Saving $100 by doing it yourself at home. You didn't even have to raise the meat. Just buy good quality meat. Take your time to butcher it yourself. Save yourself $100. Now I'm going to put these in the freezer, and I'm going to show you how I cut up my sirloin strips from a whole piece into my steak portions. Very simple. Nothing spectacular. No rocket science. So let me get these into the freezer.
So what I'm going to do is just cut approximately 1 inch thick portions. That is what I like. And as you can see here, I'm just cutting through that back piece of fat, and I do have to sharpen my knife a bit more. I can feel it. There you go. 1 inch piece, perfect. I'm going to put that on. I'm going to weigh it. That is 12 ounces. And put that aside. And I am just going to continue on with the entire portion. Once you've done a couple of pieces, you kind of have an idea of where you want to be by weight. So as soon as I've got a couple of pieces cut, then I just go through and score the rest of the whole piece so that I know where I'm at, and then I'll cut into the back. Yep, I have to keep sharpening as I go. Once I'm done butchering my meat, I always disinfect my knife sharpener, just in case you're wondering. And you can see those puppy heads in the back. Yep, they know meat is happening, and they're trying to stick around in case there's any scraps. But as you can see, I'm scoring through at 1 inch thickness just to get an idea, and then I'll just cut through that hard piece at the back.
So there we go, 3 layers of steaks. I ended up with 16 steaks. This one's a little odd, so this will be perfect for steak and eggs. So we have 15 steaks for $120, and they're 1 inch thick, beautiful marbling quality. I saw these packaged at the store for $40 for 3. So when I had the option to buy, I could buy a package of 3 or I could buy the whole piece. The packages of 3 were $40. The whole piece was $120. It was a no-brainer for me. So I'm gonna throw these into the freezer. Well, wasn't that simple? Literally just cutting up meat. It's the same as slicing bread. Just gotta be a little bit more careful. But I just wanted to show you that you can save some good money just by trying to cut your own meat. And this goes the same with chicken. Buy a whole chicken, part it out yourself. We raise our chickens, so I never buy chicken. But stick to a proper human diet and your body and your health will thank you. Hope you've enjoyed this content. Not much of anything except cutting up some meat, but I'm glad you came along, and we'll see you soon. So go out, live your best life. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And we're gonna be cooking up some steak and eggs right now.